Today, we're talking about creating killer data-driven buyer personas. The reason your favorite brands seem to nail their marketing is because of their ability to understand their audience through detailed buyer personas. You might have a great marketing idea, but how do you make sure that it gets seen and enjoyed by the people that matter to you? Building personas is a science, and let's be honest, it's one of the hardest things to do well.
That's not good.
But the good news is, there is a right way to do all of this. We work with some of the world's biggest brands, and they all have one thing in common. They take a data-driven approach to persona building and to marketing, and this has allowed them to grow and become leaders of their niche. So in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. I'll show you how to build buyer personas that actually work using audience intelligence, AI, and a process that takes minutes instead of weeks. By the way, I'm Andrew from Audiense, and we built an audience intelligence platform dedicated to helping brands like yours uncover deep audience insights and segmentation to help you be way more effective at marketing. So if you're ready, let's dive in. All right, let's be honest. Most buyer personas are straight up useless, and that's because they're built on loose assumptions and not real data. And you've seen these before. Marketing Mary, 35, loves coffee and reads HubSpot. But here's the problem. Does this tell you what truly drives her decisions or what makes her buy? It doesn't, right? So what's wrong with traditional personas? First of all, they're static. A persona made last year, it's already outdated. They're generic. They don't really capture real audience behavior. And they're based on surface level information, age and job title. They don't tell you why someone buys. So instead, let's build a persona using real audience data. And that means we need to stop guessing and actually look at how people behave. And for that, we need audience segmentation. All right, so like I mentioned, most marketers segment their audience by age, gender, and location, but that doesn't tell you anything about what really matters, what they care about, how they make decisions, or who actually influences them. So what's the right way to segment your audience? Maybe grab some pen and a paper here and I'll list it for you. You want to look at interests and behaviors. So what topics and conversations do they engage with? Influencers they trust. So who shapes their opinions and purchasing decisions? Media consumption. Where do they get their information? What content do they consume? Online habits. Where do they spend their time online? Are they creators? Are they commenters? Or are they just passive scrollers? What's their buying mindset? What influences the purchasing decisions? Is it social media, ads, friends and family? Now, if you want to uncover this kind of data, you really have two options. You have the manual way, so digging through social data, conducting surveys, analyzing competitors, and spending weeks trying to spot patterns.
No thanks, I'm good.
Or the faster way, you can use audience intelligence tools to do it for you. For example, tools like Audience allow you to instantly identify audience clusters, so instead of guessing, you can see how people naturally group together based on shared interests and behaviors.
I love that idea.
But whether you use a tool or you gather it manually, the goal is the same. You want to find patterns that actually shape how your audience thinks and behaves. So now let's take the data, we'll look at a real example and turn it into a useful buyer persona. If you've ever tried to build a detailed buyer persona, you know that it can take weeks of research, but we can speed that process up a ton using AI. Here's how AI is going to help you. It instantly organizes audience data into structured insights. It can turn segmentation into detailed buyer personas without hours of manual work. And it speeds up the process so you can focus on strategy and execution. Here's what you need to do. You need to take the audience insights that you've gathered, and whether you're getting that from an audience intelligence tool, customer research, or manual analysis, and you're going to want to use the following prompt in ChatGPT. By the way, for this example, I'm looking at the Gen Z audience in the US who loves the podcast Crime Junkie. Specifically, I'm looking at a segment of that audience that are interested in sports and true crime. All right, let's hop into ChatGPT, and you want to use the following prompt. All right, so in ChatGPT, you're going to use the following prompt. I have an audience segment with these characteristics. You're going to insert everything you know about your audience. This is your demographics, socioeconomics, personality insights, media affinity, interest categories, everything there is to know about your audience. You're going to put it in here, and you're going to say, based on this, create a highly detailed buyer persona, including name, age range, interest, buying mindset, pain points, and content preferences. I'm just adding a little extra context here so it can spit out more accurate data. I'm saying this is a segment called Sports and True Crime, which is part of a larger audience that is Gen Z, lives in the US, and are fans of the podcast Crime Junkie. I'm also saying please look at the screenshots I've included, which include demographics, psychographics, all that stuff. And just so you know, this is where I pulled it from. So this came from inside of Audience. Like I said, this was part of a larger audience here of Gen Z living in the US who like Crime Junkie. And then I'm going a little deeper into one segment, and that's really a key to marketing in general, is like even having this full thing, it's not ideal, right? Because then you're marketing to a big group that likes Crime Junkie, yes, but you're missing all the subtleties and ways of connecting with them. So going into the sports and true crime section, it breaks down the audience against the larger audience that we're looking at. And I just went through all these tabs here. Demographics, socioeconomics, all of that. And I just took screenshots of everything that I would need and fed that into ChatGPT. And that's the beauty of Audience. Obviously, you have everything right there. I don't need to look anywhere else. I have everything I need right here. So yeah, I took screenshots, put it into ChatGPT. I'm just going to erase this here because I have all my data. And yeah, we're going to let it do its thing. All right, so ChatGPT's done its thing. It's giving us a very detailed buyer persona. Obviously, we have the simple stuff like a name, gave us Emma Carter, cool name. 18 to 24, predominantly female, location, the United States, in urban and suburban areas with strong representations in cities like Phoenix, Cincinnati, and Orlando. It's giving us all the psychographic and interests. So what's her personality? What are her interests? This is really good too. If like, say that you want to create your own podcast to rival Crime Junkie and maybe your angle is sports. Like if I wanted to do a sports and true crime podcast, this gives me a lot to work with, right? Because it's like, okay, now I know she likes true crime and mystery, sports, pulp culture and entertainment, music and influences, right? You get to learn all that, and that helps you create a way better content strategy and will help you create a better podcast. You also have things like buying mindset, purchase influence to know like where and how she buys. That could be good for ad targeting or messaging. You have pain points, like what really matters to her at the end of the day. We have content preferences, so their platforms like social first, engages most with Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. These are all really, really good things to know. And then even at the end, this is how to engage Emma Carter. This is really, really good, right? Create true crime and sports mashup content. She loves both. So content that connects these worlds, crime cases and sports would resonate. I think that'd be an awesome, cool premise for a podcast and for a show. Leveraging social proof, peer recommendations, user-generated content, and influencer endorsements are key to grabbing her attention. It gives you all these things that you can take, and it's from your own data on a specific audience segment, so you know that you have way more accurate data to work with, so you can create better marketing strategies. And then we got a final summary, and this is good. If you're working with a team, you need to talk to stakeholders in your company or management. This gives you a very clear and summarized version of who we're targeting. So Emma Carter is a young, socially active, and trend-conscious Gen Z woman who is deeply immersed in true crime and sports culture. She consumes digital content primarily through social media. That's good to know in terms of your content strategy and where you should be investing your dollars. Loves influencer-driven recommendations. Again, if you were launching a sports true crime podcast, what influencers could you work with? How could you get them to start working with your brand and promoting your podcast to people like Emma? She's a super spontaneous buyer, so, ads on social might work really well. Brands looking to engage her should focus on entertainment-driven, interactive, and community-based content that blends pop culture, crime stories, and sports narratives. Again, this is what you're looking for when you're building a detailed buyer persona, right? We go beyond the basic stuff like demographics, and we have a very granular view at who Emma is and how she represents this segment and this audience that we want to target. Gives us a nice, clean summary, and from there, we can move on to the creative and strategic work that actually moves the needle. One thing I do want to say with AI is that it should always be your assistant, right? It's your assistant, you're the decision maker. So make sure you go through all this and kind of vet it yourself and analyze it further and use a mix of what you know about your audience and your intuition. This stuff's really good. It's gonna, help you move quicker and move to more creative and strategic work, but always double check it. Remember that you're the decision maker. But with that being said, we can actually take this a step further. So why don't we look at getting ChatGPT to help us create, laser focused pieces of content. We'll take everything we have here, we'll use another prompt, and we'll get it to help us create some content that we can use to promote this podcast to this group of people. All right, so now you have a real buyer persona, but we don't stop there, right? We want to take this a step further and actually use it to create more effective marketing strategies. And to do that well, we need to look at two important things, right? We want to create content that speaks directly to our audience's interests, and we want to refine the messaging to align with their mindset. We already saw ChatGPT spit out a mini content strategy to target this audience, so let's build on that and get ChatGPT to help us create laser-focused content ideas based on our persona. So let's hop back into ChatGPT, and you're going to use the following prompt. All right, cool. So here's the prompt you're going to want to use to help ChatGPT help us create 10 high-performing content ideas that would resonate with this group. You're going to say, based on this buyer persona, generate 10 high-performing content ideas that would resonate with them, including blog posts, video ideas, and social media concepts. So hit enter. You're going to let it do its thing. All right, cool. And now we got it. We got 10 high-performing content ideas for Emma Carter. So Emma thrives on true crime, sports, and pop culture and engaging snackable content. Again, all these there's golden nuggets all over here, right? Snackable content. You may be thinking that you have to create very long videos, very involved content, but hearing the word snackable content, that's good. That makes you think of things like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever. So, that's going to influence your content strategy as well. But diving into it, we got blog topics. So criminals in sports, the most shocking athlete scandals, deep diving into real life sports crime cases from betting scandals to major league troubles. You could include infamous cases like Aaron Hernandez, O.J. Simpson, and Lance Armstrong's doping scandal. It tells you why it works. And then going down into video ideas for YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Reels, we have sports crimes that Netflix needs to turn into a documentary, a short form video summarizing shocking sports related crimes and why they would make great binge worthy true crime shows. These are great ideas, right? I'm sure if you were going to launch a podcast around this sort of niche, these are really, really good ideas to work off of. You could, we let AI solve an unsolved sports crime. Here's what happened. That's really cool, actually. I think that'd be something I watch. True crime horror stories, all that sort of stuff. And then you go into social media post concepts for TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube Shorts. Remember, the data that we gave it, and I didn't show you this, but in their social preferences, these were their top channels: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, right? This isn't just random. ChatGPT isn't just making up these channels. These are very much tailored to this audience and where they spend their time online, which is important as well, right? You don't just want to be, maybe we should be on Facebook or Instagram, but you don't know why. Using audience data the right way tells you where to be, and then you can obviously use stuff like this to help you develop a strategy. But for posts, 2 truths and 1 lie, can you spot the fake true crime case? That's cool, that's fun, that's interactive. What's your true crime detective name? A bit of a quiz. These could be good lead magnets to get people to listen to your podcast or whatever. Your POV, the detective solving this sports crime. It's a viral challenge. POV format to immerse viewers in solving a sports-related crime. Very cool, interactive, immersive, all that sort of stuff, right? So this is all gold. This is all good content. And the goal from AI, right? It's not to just take it as it is. Obviously, you're going to want to use your expertise and your experience to vet through everything and choose angles and choose post types and all that you think would be good. But it's a really great starting point, right? And the whole point of it is to get the ideas flowing, to get you to the strategic and creative decision making a lot faster, rather than spending so much time gathering data or trying to brainstorm. This helps you get there faster so you can start creating more valuable content, right? So I hope this was really helpful. I hope it was inspirational. There's a lot here that we can work with if we were going to build out a sports and true crime podcast. You can use these same steps to create a content strategy for whatever niche or industry you're in, or if you're trying to sell a certain product. This is going to get you there a lot faster and get you closer to that creative and strategic decision making. All right, let's do a quick recap. In this video, we covered why most buyer personas are completely useless if they're based on assumptions, how to segment your audience the right way using audience intelligence, and how to use AI to create accurate buyer personas in minutes instead of weeks. And most importantly, how to actually use those personas to create better content and campaigns that convert. Now, I know this whole process, getting real audience data, figuring out segmentation, keeping personas updated, it can sound like a lot of work. And honestly, if you try to do this manually, it is a lot of work. But that's exactly why we built Audience. So you don't have to spend weeks trying to understand your audience. With Audience, you can instantly segment your audience based on real behaviors and interests, uncover who they follow, what they care about, and how they make decisions. Keep your buyer personas updated in real time so you're never marketing to outdated insights. Basically, instead of guessing, you can just log into Audience and see exactly who your audience is. So you can build buyer personas that actually work and create content that actually resonates. So if you want to start making smarter marketing decisions and understand your audience, go check out Audience. It's an incredible tool, and I promise it'll change the way you approach audience segmentation forever. Oh, and before you go, drop a comment below. I'd love to know if you have any questions about this or if you got any golden nuggets from this. And if you like this video, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.